I'm Lori Hardy, and this is Enough. Last week, I was telling you about 95% of us believe we're not enough. So if that's true about you, maybe go back and listen to episode 1. Here's the thing. We all have a story. We all have someplace we can go back to and look at how our lives have been shaped. In fact, most of the experts say between the age of 7 and 14 is when we really discover what we love and what we want to do, what our purpose is. So it takes looking back. But also, there are stories that we have that have affected us. For instance, I'm 5 years old. I'm in kindergarten the first day, and the bell rings. We all file out onto the sidewalk, and one by one, all the kids leave with their mom. And there's me standing there. My teacher says, "Oh, I wonder where your mom is." And I say, "I know how to get home." I lived in Seattle. I'm 5 years old. I did not know how to get home. But she let me go, and I started walking. And finally, I saw a landmark. I saw my babysitter's house, and I knew how to get home from there. I had to backtrack a little. And when I walked into my house, my mom and my baby sister was playing. I'm 5 years old. I'm jealous. And my mom looks at her watch, and she says, "Oh, I don't have to pick you up." And what my little heart heard was, "Oh, I don't need to take care of you anymore. You made it home." I made a decision that day that I was alone, that I didn't even matter enough for my mom to come and pick me up. And that was the story I told myself, and that is the way I lived, as if I was all alone. I married 2 men who couldn't love me. They had their own issues. I lived married, but really single. Then I heard about Dr. Caroline Leaf. She has a 21-day brain detox that is amazing. And it took me back to when I was 5 years old. Now as an adult, I'm not jealous, and I'm looking at the scene, and I realize my mom looked at her clock and she meant, "Oh, you're home right now. I don't have to come pick you up right now." So all these years I had held on to the fact that I thought I was on my own. So going back and looking at that story and then retraining my brain. And when you change your thought, you don't go from thinking, which I didn't realize I was thinking this, I'm alone, and then you change it to I'm not alone, because that is still negative. So what you want to change it to is I am loved and I have friends and I matter. I am loved, I have friends, and I matter. And we say that. We say the opposite until our brain begins to believe it, and then our body starts to act accordingly. Think about a story. Go back to a story in your childhood that maybe you made a life decision in that moment. And go back as an adult and look at it. And if it involves abuse in any way, don't be afraid to get a counselor or to hire a coach, because these things are really important. And if you're going back, you want someone to hear you, validate you, walk with you through this process. But once you start to change the way you think of who you are, then you start to act different and people start to act differently towards you. I hope I've inspired you to some action today to take a step. I'm Lori, and this is Enough.